Baby, take my time. What's the rush? All right, SPY 4 hour time frame. We have some divergence, but we also have some pressure to the downside. Let's see what happens. All right, can we flush to 623? Or are we going to trap in the bears? All right, that's what we want to think about. That's what we want to think about. Okay, and this is live recording. Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is a little impromptu than what you're used to with the intro, right? But I want to get straight to the bag, straight to the charts. If you're watching this, it's not too late. It's 1 o'clock on the 7th of August, okay? And we have a couple of selective markets, all right? There are a couple of markets that are moving good and a couple of markets that are moving bad, so to speak, to the downside, all right? For instance, we have Hood, right? Hood has been doing this thing, all right? Today it's around 110, 19, with, of course, some profit taking. You have right here in front of you some profit taking, all right, to try to catch this higher low. All right, are we bullish on a higher time frame? What is the context, right? Is this a buying opportunity for Hood to continue to the upside, right? Is there divergence? All right, as long as we have higher time frame continuity, meaning the higher time frame is giving us a buy signal. It is bullish candles, okay? Bullish candles. If this is your first time watching, let me go to the daily and show you what I mean by higher time frame confirmation, right? What is the direction? The higher time frame is like the granddaddy of them all, all right? It's going to tell you your overall direction, all right? And then you want to find the smaller time frames for your entry, all right? So is it a buy the dip moment? Is it a flush moment? How do you know? Well, it's flushing if price is breaching this higher candle of a daily, right? So I would consider maybe getting out of my longs, protecting some profits, and or going short if we break below 106.37 on HOOD, all right? A break of structure, a break of a low, right, on the higher time frame. The direction is saying towards the downside, and I want to define my entry, my exit, and my risk. Where's my risk? My risk is halfway here. So 109, all right? Same price that we are now. That's your risk for a trade on Hood, all right? If you was to take that short below that 107.36 mark, and your target would be 106 and 106.33. All right, 106 and 106.33. That's a trade to the downside. It's a hypothetical, right? But if we don't see that, all right, then you want to trade accordingly, right? And what do you have? You have a technical bear trap. Two try failure from the bears. Let the bears try once. Let them try twice. Aha. This is my entry for calls. All right, now I know that I have their stops as fuel to the upside. Their stops are above here, and I want to run those stops. And we have ran those stops. So that's what's happening in front of us. This is the second scenario of what you want to see happen. And that's actually what's inside of us. I'm sorry, inside of the chart right now, what you have. And so you see continuation to the upside on Hood. I do have a $130 price target on Hood with a parabolic move above 113.36. I hope you guys heard me, all right? Let's move back to SPY. All right, this is a market update with Coach UV. This is the unique trading group. Hope that the guidance helps you. All right, what do we have on SPY right now? Let's put it into the context. 630 is holding, right? We have pressure to the downside. We have some selling. If we see selling, all right, I want to target a flush zone, okay? I want to really get a flush, right? Right in front of you, or if you've been watching the channel for a while, you know I stress higher highs and higher lows. Higher highs and higher lows, all right? All right. So, all right, just want to get you guys' attention, all right? Listen, we have higher lows here, all right? If we create this higher low here, there's a possible chance we could break back up here and take out these bears to fill this gap right here. We have a gap towards the upside, so that's trade. That's a trade. But we're worrying about precision. Most problems with different traders are the entry, right? The entry is hard to get. Your entry is on a simple line break, all right? All right, you want to get your GAN fan, right? Your GAN fan, your entry will be above here, right? Simple in nature, symmetry and lines, all right? That's what we want to think about, okay? Higher low, entry above here on the 1 hour time frame. And you want to measure time and see, so it's about 108. You know you have a couple hours left in the market. If you're scalping, you want to go to the 5 minute and you want to just play the range, okay? Some moments in trading is not about trading. You want to wait for the best risk to reward. And right now, this is a do nothing moment unless you're scalping. All right, it's about doing nothing and waiting for the right opportunity. So this same line we created is acting as resistance that we made on a 1 hour time frame. And so that means that the bears are in control, and we have a simple technical pattern, right? lower highs. As long as we continue to make lower highs, there's a chance that we can flush to the bottom. But right now, that's not happening. We are in indecision with price being compressed because we haven't broke these lows either. Okay, so that's what we're waiting for: a break of these lows or a break of the highs. Which one is going to come first? All right. What's tomorrow? OPEX Friday, correct? OPEX Friday? Yes, it is OPEX Friday tomorrow. Okay, and so we can have some folks taking some profits for the weekend to get ready for the reversion. We got a couple of hours left in the market, and we could have data tomorrow. All right, data tomorrow. All right, on Forex Factory. All right, we're gonna check out the data. Okay, so you guys can see what's going on. If 630 breaches on SPY, okay, 630, we keep breaking down and it acts as resistance. I want to be looking short to target previous lows. All right, so here we are on Forex Factory. Let's see what we have. All right, at 3 p.m. we have consumer credit that comes out today at the time of this live recording. I want you guys to have some guidance coming in the end of the week. All right, remember that it's OPEX Friday. A lot of volatility in the market, especially in the option chain where people are adjusting their call and put positions based on what happens. All right, if you're not ahead, you're chasing. All right, but if you're not chasing, you're ahead, which means you're properly prepared. All right, managing your positions. All right, already identifying your entry, your exit, and your risk. All right, these are very important. All right, so in front of us we have August the 8th. All right, August 8th we have the unemployment change and unemployment rate. All right, so you want to be careful around that. All right, a lot of people don't like to hold positions when these moments are happening the next day. So you could have some early profit taking with a member speaking, and you know it's going to be about interest rates. So you guys get ready for that. All right, so that's what we have on SPY. The bulls want to try to retest this 340 area. All right, and so you want to be careful here and not get trapped. All right, and since it's 111, you can check the 15-minute time frame and see, do we see some sort of divergence. Now, I want you guys to do me a favor. Remember this recording, all right? Because I'm not wasting my time. I like to present value. There could be traps that lie here, inducing traders who are chasing, who don't understand the context of a market, and they're chasing. And as soon as they load up on the wrong side, it pushes towards the other side. So you can rewind this again, come back to this video, and remember that it's going to continue to happen. I hope that you take this and go make some actual real money from these, because I've been doing this for a while and giving you guys pristine guidance and accuracy because I'm very passionate about trading. So get educated and entertained at the same time. And we're going to revisit this video in the price on SPY. At this time, 111, almost 115, almost a 4-hour switch, right? From 9:30 to 1:30 is a 4-hour candle close. That's what we're waiting on. But at 115 is a 15-minute time frame close. All right, so the 15-minute candle is going to give us some context. And so we're going to see, remember, we're at 6:30:68 at the time of this recording on August 7th. All right, thank you guys for that. Now we're going to move on along before we finish the video. We're going to check out Tesla. All right, check out Tesla. And remember on the SPY, if we flush below these lows on 617, let's go back real quick because I want to be clear to always have two scenarios in mind. All right, if we fall below these lows, all right, there are gaps to the downside at 623. That's an $8 risk to reward ratio. All right, but we have divergence, so sometimes it's best to be patient. Look right here. All right, that doesn't look bearish, it looks oversold. All right, but it can still continue, and you get that context going down to the lower time frames. All right, you have your ranges. You're watching for the best trade. See, we have micro bearishness, but higher time frame bullishness. So let's see what happens. All right, you guys are understanding that we are breaching previous demand zones. So be careful, okay? Tesla, all right, TSLA. What do we have? All right, Elon and the Tesla crew. All right, we have a bull flag into a range, all right? A bull flag into a range. You guys see that, okay? And ranges like to rotate. You see price going back and forth, all right? Ranges like to rotate. There are several ranges, all right, below us, all right? This area here is a range, okay? Show you guys right here. This is a range, all right? That is a range also. And we also have a bigger range right here at the bottom, okay? So there are several ranges on Tesla. And what can happen is we can get a breakdown, all right, for people to take profit before tomorrow. That's if this 322 continues to be a wall. As long as 322 continues to be a wall, then that's what you have. Now I'm going to clear up this chart. We can continue to the downside, but this is a bull flag, right? And if we break above all right, we can see higher prices. And to put it into context, from 307 all the way to 322, all right, that's about a $15 move, all right. So on Tesla, if we break above 322, you do the simple math. Even a fourth grader, a fifth grader, sixth grader, they could do this simple math, all right. 322 plus 15, you do the math. We already know 10 of that is 332. So if we add another 5, that's 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. So Tesla could possibly get at 337, but you want to get the best risk to reward. You don't want to buy high. You want to buy it at a moment where rookies are trying to buy puts at places of demand when prices is going back towards the upside. Okay, so beneath here is your risk. All right, for a short to flush back down with the volume profile, these thin zones here, for the gaps to be filled. All right, so you have your range. Your range is this entire move. So the best entries, think about risk to reward, all right? All right, if you wanted to buy puts to scalp, you would short the top of the range. If you wanted to buy calls to scalp, you would buy the bottom of the range. And that's what we're doing. And always look to see if we're creating higher lows for the ultimate entry, all right? Guys, if any of this sounds brand new, if it's new to you and you don't understand, it's all right. Don't worry. I teach this and I mentor students all across the globe, all right? From Germany to the United States, all right? It's Coach UV, and this is the unique trading group where strategy meets mindset and discipline turns into income. And if you want to join a thriving community and get educated and entertained at the same time to learn a process, right? Not financial advice, but good trading advice from someone who's seasoned and been in the game, then click that link below, all right? And check out that beginning video in the middle of the video so that the video in the beginning of the video that popped up so that you can check out that free course, that free trading course, all right? And check out that link below to join a thriving community, all right? The unique trading group. There's been some success in the group. We have a lot of great students and a lot of mentees there, and I love the tier 2 subscribers in there. They're engaging, all right? They're open-minded, and they're there to learn and to make money. And always remember, you can paper trade. You can paper trade these ideas. You can paper trade the market to get familiar and to gain confidence, all right? A lot of people are against paper trading, all right? But it's there for a reason, all right? It is there for a reason to teach you confidence, to learn how to lose, learn how to win, your emotions. Sometimes the best winnings are when you hold, or sometimes the best trades are sitting on your hands and no trading. Understand the best risk to reward is when to put your money in the market and not just clicking the button at any candle you see. All right, and I wanted to give you guys that commentary, and I think I'm going to end it right there. All right. There's a lot of things going on in the market. I think we are bullish overall. We do have some economic headwinds coming up, so be wary and be careful. All right, in the near future, be careful. Wanted to give you guys a quick little update, all right, on the market and some context. So you guys be careful. You understand? If Tesla breaches below those lows, all right, then you want to retreat. Okay, you want to retreat and you want to think towards the downside, all right? If we break below these lows, all right, you don't want to be a chaser. You don't want to be a chaser, all right? So at 4:30, we're going to have a candle close at 1:30. It's going to be the 4-hour candle close, all right? We have OPEX Friday tomorrow, all right? What is the context? Where are we at right now? What is the VIX saying, all right? This is a market eternal, all right? Are more people buying puts right now on the market, all right? Are we creating lower highs here, all right? Overhead resistance on the VIX for us to go continue down, or are we breaking above, all right? It's something to ask yourself. You need to understand that, all right? Are we breaking above, all right? What is gold doing at inverse of SPY, all right? What is that doing, all right? Are we making higher highs? Are we creeping up, all right? HYG, which is the corporate yield bond ETF, all right? What are we doing? Are we breaking down, all right? If we break down below 80, all right, SPY is going to flush. You understand? You understand? The bond market and SPY has a very interesting correlation, and so you want to know these things, all right? And last but not least, the PCE ratio, all right? Are we going towards the upside, all right? The PCE ratio is a market eternal as well. I want to know how many people are buying puts and calls and trap them in when they're buying at the wrong time. You understand? When they're overly bearish, I like to trap them, and when they're overly bullish, I like to trap them. And that's a metric that I teach, all right? If you want to understand this, all right, I have a book that explains Market Eternal, and that's also down in the link below. There's education here for you, and there's value here for you. If you guys like this video thus far, do me a favor, go ahead and hit that like button, and hit that subscribe. Subscribe to the channel if you found it valuable. hit that bell so that you're notified whenever I drop valuable videos just like this one. All right. And as you guys can see, we're getting that breach. All right. Just can't help it. Just wanted to show you. And we got that 15 minute candle close. See? Are we going to break below? Are we going to break below or stay here at this divergence? Stay tuned for the next video on the update. And by the way, just to let you guys know, all right, just to let you guys know, there is actually some gems and some good commentary and content on my YouTube channel, even for beginners. All right, so if you're advanced or intermediate, you've been in the game, you like my technical analysis, you like my approach, just understand that there are videos to guide and predict. All right, these are just what I do. I've been doing it so long, but it's not financial advice. I'm just a coach and a mentor. So thank you guys for watching. All right, we are past 500 subscribers. I appreciate that. 500 subscribers and counting. All right, with about 78 videos. You guys have been watching. That means I'm bringing you value, bringing me consistent views for this smaller channel. But we're thinking big and we're playing the game big. All right, it's about those baby consistent steps. All right, compounding. Compounding effect states that if you can stick with something that's smart, a strategy that works, and you're seeing results and it works, stick to the small basics and build that over time and gain that habit. All right, gain that habit. Now, what you see in front of you, all right, is my last video that I made. It was a slingshot reversal on SPY. SPY prediction played out. All right, I predicted a slingshot reversal where the market dropped last week, and there was a bunch of fear mongering in the news media. Some of your favorite gurus on YouTube, some of your favorite gurus on YouTube were saying crash, crash, crash. I was one of the only ones saying that this could be a setup for a slingshot reversal. Some folks in the Discord also made some bank, all right? And so did I, because we took that trade because we were properly prepared for that slingshot on SPY, all right? And sometimes you get the same similar moves and you get deja vu with slingshot reversals. All right, you peep the screen, you peeping it. Hope you guys are blessed out there. All right, stay safe. All right, stay tuned for the next part 2. Thanks for watching. All right, as always, remember to always protect your entry. All right, define your exit and your risk. You understand? All right, until the next time, guys. Peace.